Hello, welcome to 5 Minutes Economics. In part 1, what economics means, we had discussed the classical version, the wealth definition of economics of Adam Smith. Also, we discussed how Ricardo and Malthus broadened the field of economics in the same classical sphere by discussing the concepts of land rent, the increase in population in relation to the increase in food production, and the comparative advantage in international trade. Also, we had initiated the neoclassical version of the definition of economics as pronounced by Marshall as the ordinary business of life in order to increase the individual well-being. He brought together the concepts of wealth and welfare. According to him, wealth is just a means to increase the general welfare of the individual. It is to increase the well-being of the individual, by which he talks about that how human beings behave in the society as social animals. So he establishes the fact that economics is a social science. Now, the second variant of the neoclassical economics is that they have introduced so many concepts such as utility, marginal analysis, and market equilibrium. They focused on number one, that how individuals maximize their level of satisfaction or utility. Number two, how prices of goods and commodities are determined in the market. Number three, how resources are allocated in the competitive market. So, it definitely broadens the sphere of economics in comparison to the definition of the classical school. Then coming over to the 20th century, the 20th century marked a significant swing in the definition of economics. Mostly the definition acceptable is of Lionel Robbins, which is considered to be more broader as well as more universal in nature. This is because of the fact that he had emphasized upon the concept of scarcity of resources, scarcity of means. Whether we talk about the individual in fulfilling his desires or wants, or we talk about an economy or a country which has to produce so many goods and commodities. In both the context, the resources are limited. So this concept of scarcity obviously leads to the concept of choice. And that particular emphasis on choice, which is related with the process of decision making, that stands as a constraint that how to allocate the resources, means of resources, scarce means of scarce resources in different fields in order to maximize the level of satisfaction in case of an individual, or to maximize the production of goods and services in case of a country. So, this universal definition of Lionel Robbins is more acceptable. The important variants, the number one, is that this definition stresses upon the fact that economics is a study of science that brings about the relationship between the scarce means which have got alternative uses and the desires or the wants which are unlimited. Secondly, it emphasizes that economics is a social science dealing with how resources which have got alternative uses are to be allocated to meet competitive ends. So, as I told, it emphasizes upon the decision making process which stands as a constraint. Even Paul Samuelson has explained the use of wealth as to employ the resources that can have substitute uses. So, this is a step forward in comparison to classical and neoclassical economics. That's all today. Thank you very much. Next in the next class.